crypto, the notion that SEC Chairman Gary Gensler is quitting has swept Twitter. John Deaton, an attorney who is in favor of XRP, USCU, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Chair Gary Gensler continues to insist that most crypto assets are securities and hence subject to SEC regulation, despite losing many cases in court. Gensler claims that widespread industry-wide violation with current securities rules is to blame for the recent market turbulence in the cryptocurrency sector. Gensler's allusion to the Great Depression of the 1920s, a time when securities rules were enacted, shows why he thinks the crypto market of today needs strict regulation immediately. It is expected that he would restate this parallel and his strong convictions on the matter during his appearance before the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs on September 12. Gensler has made repeated reference to the Howey test, a legal standard used to determine whether or not an asset is a security. He emphasizes that the onus is on crypto intermediates to comply with securities legislation, since the vast majority of crypto tokens meet this condition. However, not everyone agrees with this viewpoint. This was made abundantly clear in the SEC's legal battles against both Ripple and Grayscale, in which it was shown that it had made false claims of breaches of federal securities law. During the hearing, two of the SEC's most recent proposals will also be dissected. Two bills have been introduced in the Senate. One would rework the definition of exchange to explicitly include cryptocurrency platforms, while the other would investigate the procedures for the safekeeping of digital assets. Critics of the present regulatory strategy under Gensler's leadership claim that it tends towards enforcement, which is problematic given the ambiguous legal environment surrounding cryptocurrencies and the rising volume of debate concerning crypto rules in the United States. There has been speculation of a possible settlement between Ripple and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. It is doubtful that Ripple would settle with the commission. However, since President Monica Lang has said that the business intends to see the lawsuit all the way through. In July of this year, the crypto corporation won a big win when Judge Annalisa Torres issued a summary judgment in its favor, ruling that XRP was not a security and that the company's programmatic sales and other distributions were not investment contracts. So it's easy to see why Lang and Ripple want to take the lawsuit through to the end, especially after the court ruled in their favor. The SEC plans to file an interlocutory appeal of this ruling, but legal experts believe the commission would lose if the appeal is allowed. Ripple might be hoping to exploit a possible victory against the SEC to win back the trust of investors in the cryptocurrency market. The business's chief technology officer, David Schwartz, has previously said that the SEC's action had cost the company lucrative contract. This dispute is now almost 3 years old and is likely to drag on much longer, but both Ripple and the SEC are determined to take it through to the conclusion. If the court grants the SEC's request for an interlocutory appeal, Ripple and the SEC will have to fight in court again before the jury trial even starts. In the aftermath of the landmark XRP verdict, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has increased its attempts to pursue a mid-case appeal against Ripple. This legal case, which began in December 2020, is about whether Ripple violated securities laws by making XRP accessible to regular investors via several cryptocurrency exchanges. While the SEC has aggressively claimed that XRP is a security subject to federal securities laws, Ripple has long asserted that it is not. Ripple recently submitted a paper saying that the SEC had not made a convincing case for an appeal. However, the SEC's response, filed on Friday, September 8, emphasized the case's importance, stating that the issues raised by the recent ruling presented precisely the kinds of knotty legal problems that prompted Congress to provide for interlocutory review cases of the same nature. While interlocutory appeal should be the exception, not the rule, the SEC argued. The SEC's decision to appeal stems from Judge Annalisa Torres's July 13 ruling in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, in which she determined that while Ripple did violate federal securities law in its sale of XRP to institutional investors, the company did not violate federal securities law in its sale of XRP to retail investors. Meanwhile, in reaction to the recent SEC filing, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, shared his thoughts on the topic, stating, "Another SEC filing, another disingenuous shift. After years of its chairman declaring that the rules are clear and must be followed, the SEC now demands, and not be followed, the SEC now demands it appeal to clarify these knotty legal problems." Ripple's concern that the SEC's attitude has been inconsistent is highlighted in Alderity's statement, highlighting the need for openness and clarity in the regulatory approach to the crypto industry. Nonetheless, the decision of this appeal request now lies with Judge Annalisa Torres, while the legal struggle between Ripple and the SEC continues. If she accepts the SEC's request, the case will be sent to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, where the whole crypto world will be waiting to see how this historic legal struggle plays out. According to ChatGPT, XRP has a chance of reaching a worth of $500.50 by 2024. While this figure is astronomical given its present market position, it highlights the potential that XRP has in the minds of its supporters. The model also speculated that if XRP achieves such a huge gain, it may overtake Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of market value. Such a result would be unprecedented and have the potential to reshape the whole crypto ecosystem. It is important to stress, however, that this is simply speculative and should not be construed as financial advice. Regulatory actions, technical improvements, and market sentiment, among other things, might all have an impact on XRP's future. Having said that, the cryptocurrency industry has always been full of surprises. While XRP has several difficulties, from continuing legal disputes to mainstream adoption, its proponents remain hopeful. Ripple's president, Monica Long, has stated the company's desire to defend the litigation to the finish, as it now stands between Ripple and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, CCDC. Together with other crypto businesses like Binance and Coinbase, Ripple is seeking regulatory clarity and rules for the crypto sector. Therefore, its decision to challenge the SEC's regulatory approach makes sense. Despite the difficulties, Ripple is determined to prove the SEC's duplicity and pursue growth in international markets. Ripple President Monica Long recently spoke with CNBC, where she reiterated the company's commitment to its ongoing legal battle with the SEC. After declaring their intention to see the lawsuit through, long and forcefully, "We are planning to continue to fight the case all the way through." Almost 3 years have passed in the court fight between Ripple Labs and the SEC. Although institutional sales of XRP are deemed investment contracts, Judge Torres determined that programmatic sales of the cryptocurrency are not securities, marking a partial success for Ripple. The court specifically said that XRP itself is not a security, which is noteworthy. Despite the partial victory, the SEC is appealing the order through interlocutory appeal, arguing that XRP should be categorized as a security according to the Howey test. The SEC has been condemned for being inconsistent and biased by federal courts. Monica Long said that the decision helped provide crypto sector some clarity and allowed Ripple to develop internationally. As it prepares for the trial in 2024, the firm hopes to demonstrate what it sees as the SEC's hypocrisy. In that action, "We also obtained some answers," Long said. The judge's ruling in that case made it quite obvious that XRP itself is not a security, which allows us to more freely develop our company both in the United States and throughout the world. As market volatility increased, XRP prices dropped below the crucial 50-cent support level. According to CoinMarketCap, the value of one Bitcoin has dropped by nearly 40 over the previous week to 4,808 cents. Monica Long, president of Ripple, has vowed to defend the SEC litigation to the very end. Despite XRP's price fluctuations and market uncertainty, Ripple is pressing on with international development plans. Despite the ongoing legal struggle and the crypto industry's need for regulatory clarification, Ripple is unfazed and committed to proving the SEC's claimed double standards. Despite the difficulties that lie ahead, Ripple is dedicated to developing its international solutions and discovering fresh applications for XRP in the ever-changing digital asset market.